remember when you appointed me to the NEC and we talked about all this, and you said, well, you said to me, I'm a better negotiator than you are. And you were quite right. Absolutely.
Did I say that? I don't think I'm not sure that I said that.
You did. And I took it well.
I consider you to be.
I took it well.
By the way, just to interrupt for a second, I was really impressed with the fact, because you were always a sort of not a believer in tariffs, and you became a believer in tariffs, and I greatly respected that.
Well, okay, thank you, sir. Especially China tariffs.
Yeah.
Those married men flirting on live television, they know better. Yeah, that clip, it really set the theme for Trump's latest interview with his former economic advisor turned Fox News host, that's Larry Kudlow. And Trump sat down with Kudlow for this fawning interview. Of course, they had to address the former president's many indictments.
It's a witch hunt. It's just a continuation of a witch hunt. They want to silence you. They want to silence you, and they mean silence. They are. I think they're sick people. I think they are people that have no idea how the world works, and they have no idea the anger they cause. You know, we have a tremendous group of people in this country, and I'm not just talking about Republicans. We have them on both sides, and we have a lot of them. And when they watch this witch hunt, this disgusting situation, where they do it for publicity, where they do fundraisers based on, she, in her case, and they're all bad, but in her case, because I have 4 of them now, if you look, I mean, this is not even possible, 4 over the last couple of months. And frankly, it discredits everything. And they're all very similar in the sense that there's no basis for them.
Wow, isn't that such a beautiful thing to act like the will of the people, which would be a grand jury issuing the indictment, is a prosecutor going rogue? Well, we know that since Fox News really does like to pretend to be all about the marketplace and commerce and whatnot, that they had to praise Trump's economic viabilities as a president.
30 months into it, Biden's inflation rate, 7.4% at an annual rate. Yours, less than 2%, 1.9%.
It was actually a perfect number, too. You know,
unbelievable.
You're a student of inflation, right? You know how inflation, but literally 2% is the perfect number. They actually don't want it to be 0.
Yeah.
They want it to be 2%, and we hit 2%, if you think, 1.9%.
And by the way, I love your commentary, but look at this. Grocery prices, food at home. The level is up 20%. Under your administration, 2%, again. And then finally, on gasoline, Biden's back to $3.87. That's this week.
Going up.
Yours was around $2 a gallon, actually.
That's right.
This is the stuff that's driving people crazy. I don't know that anyone's interviewed a president before and done all these numbers, but you know, I know you like to do the numbers, and this is the story. There was a Trump boom, and there's a Bidenomics bust.
Oh, wow. Can we get a fact check? Yeah, we can. The job market has remained one of the economy's strongest pillars during Biden's presidency, with the unemployment rate slipping from 6.3% in January 2021 to a 54-year low of 3.4% in January. And this is all via Forbes. However, widespread layoffs in recent months may be starting to have an impact, with last month marking the worst job growth since 2020, as the unemployment rate clocked in at 3.5%. Gas prices soared to their highest levels ever last year amid shock from Russia's invasion from Ukraine. And through the price, I know the price at the pump has come down dramatically. The $3.66 average cost per gallon last week was 54% higher than the week preceding Biden's inauguration. So yeah, that would be when Trump was president, despite crude oil prices slipping. And lastly, headline economic output was strong during Biden's watch, as US gross domestic product rose 20% to $26.1 trillion from the last quarter of 2020 to the same period last year, buoyed largely by outsized gains in manufacturing and spending on entertainment and leisure. All said, the fact check shows that Trump and Fox News weren't necessarily telling the truth, which is very interesting, as we know they are very truthful individual people and companies, but still. Well, we know that finally Kudlow had to conclude the conversation by sneaking in just basically one more laughable claim, but this time, of course, about Trump's campaign.
Can I just add one thing, sir? I don't think people know this. Your campaign, you and your advisors in the campaign, You're putting out all these great videos. You're putting out white papers on issues left and right, and millions of people are reading this stuff. I mean, you're running an issues-oriented campaign. That's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this stuff today.
Oof, the softballs there. Brad, did you enjoy that interview?
Oh my God, that was one of the best things I've ever seen. I can't believe we can show it because I think it's technically pornography. The moment when Kudlow at the very beginning in that first interview is complimenting Trump, and I've never seen someone try to bow while sitting down. Like he literally like bows his head. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Can I have another? That kind of stuff. This economic picture and this weird game of Twister that Republican elites like Larry Kudlow, business news guy Larry Kudlow and, media / quasi real estate mogul Donald Trump have to twist themselves into is just hilarious. Because, having Trump say to Kudlow, like, you came around on tariffs, and then in the next breath talk about the consumer price index. Like, everybody who is on the Republican side of the aisle will tell you that the reason that they originally were for free trade before like Obama era economics kind of and neoliberal economics twisted the Democratic Party into a more, a less protectionist stance, we'll say, put it that way. The Republicans will tell you that they didn't like tariffs. And then when you add tariffs, what it does is make things more expensive because you're just kind of charging more for them to get to America, or they have to be American made. And we have a higher GDP, we have a higher standard of living technically than other countries dollar for dollar. So the overall price that raises it. Now, typically Democrats have been on the side of saying like, yeah, the reason that I like protective tariffs is the same reason I like unions, is because they protect the worker in America from the BS that the corporations are doing. And that brings me to the next point, which is like watching unemployment go up as a result of raising interest rates. Like, that's literally the plan to stop inflation. And that's sadly what a lot of people do, is they raise interest rates so that getting money is more expensive, so that like running a business is more expensive, so that they essentially have to fire people. They can't afford as many workers. And because of that, it puts a downward pressure on overall prices. That's their logic. But what's really happening, and what the government has even admitted, is all of that interest rate raising, all of this hand wringing from the Republicans in that interview is just a charade, because they know that during all of this time when they say it's hard to be a business, they're raking in record corporate profits. And that's why they're keeping prices high. They don't have to. They don't have to at all. They just want to give more money to their shareholders. And who are their shareholders? The people that watch Larry Kudlow. The people that love Larry Kudlow, and now Larry Kudlow has found a way to basically pretend that he's a man of the people. And Donald Trump has gotten him there. And that's why people are abandoning DeSantis lately. That's why their hope of like they just don't like the annoyingness of Trump. But they're fine because they know that Trump isn't gonna sabotage big business. And then that graphic that they showed about Bidenomics, Trump versus Trump boom, you can go point for point through that when they selected the dates of everything, because Donald Trump took office before COVID completely annihilated supply chains, and he left office when and Biden took office when supply chains were in the early stages of being annihilated, and that coinciding with corporate profit land grabs essentially. Like, it's easy to make a graphic like that.
Yeah, and we know that Fox News is not necessarily here for ensuring that the viewers get all of the accurate information and can make informed decisions, as opposed to presenting a story in the slant that they enjoy, which is something that Fox News is pretty good at, and they did a damn good job at during that segment.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.